I have been asked 2 times how to behave after parting with a man so that he wants to return, and I will consider 2 options for this situation. Despite the fact that the questions were identical, the motives were completely opposite. One girl made the decision to break up on her own and was already in a new romantic union, but she was worried that these circumstances would hurt her former partner. To be honest, she did not want to let him go at all, as there is a possibility that in the future she will have to return to him. The second girl found herself in a position of abandonment and was thinking how best to structure her behavior in order to increase the chances of her former partner's return. Although their questions sounded the same, the motivation was completely different. In most cases, girls do not know how to refuse correctly, which leads to sad consequences. Guys experience negative emotions and are indignant. Sometimes women rudely and tactlessly refuse a man whom they actually find interesting, but are not interested in a relationship at the moment. Often, after such a refusal, they will regret their decision. Therefore, it is worth understanding that by refusing a man, you need to behave in such a way that he is not offended, and at the same time understand that a relationship is not possible now. There are several rules that will help with this. The first rule is not to suppress his self-esteem. When a girl abruptly and rudely refuses a man, his self-esteem suffers a serious blow. He begins to think that he is bad, unattractive, that no one wants to be with him. These thoughts penetrate his subconscious, and he suffers. Therefore, it is important not to humiliate his dignity in phrases like "I don't want to be with you" or "I'm not interested in you." This will only make the situation worse. It is better to start the dialogue with praise, showing the man that he is a cool guy. Tell him that you had a good time with him and that you like him. Show him that he is a normal and good person, that there is nothing in him that he needs to change. This will help to maintain his self-esteem. Another important rule is not to use accusatory phrases. Avoid telling him that you are rejecting because he is too intrusive or boring. Don't tell him that has not fit to be a father or that has not attractive. Instead, explain to him the reasons for your breakup in a message, that is, through the mailbox, so that you do not feel delicious and unsettling. You need to understand that after a breakup, a man may have difficulty coping with his emotions. When a woman takes this into account and shows a man that he is valued and respected, it helps him overcome a difficult period. And remember that these rules are valid not only upon termination of an existing relationship, but also when a girl refuses the offer of a new man. Men with a decrease in self-esteem begin to think that the main indicator of masculinity is the ability to achieve their goals. They cannot accept defeats and flatly refuse to admit the fiasco. And right now it's you. He will suffer, and you will get it just like that at the same time. Therefore, all these mechanisms in his behavior should be turned off. When you dismiss with accusations, devaluation, and humiliation, provocation occurs. You are literally challenging him. This is utopia. If you say you're cool, then he has a reasonable question. If so, then why can't I take you? Feel free to say that he can easily do it. You're stronger, at least. I like you as a person, so you don't need to do much for that. Moreover, they think so not only when self-esteem has decreased. All men, looking at the girl they like, try to assess their capabilities. Let him know that he has all the trumps in his hands and, if desired, he will get everything he wants without much effort. So far it sounds illogical. I was going to turn the guy down, but in the end I tell him how wonderful he is, and in general I almost started to undress. But in fact, all this is necessary in order not to provoke the protective mechanisms of the psyche and return to man to consciousness, that is, to bring the dialogue to a rational plane. His self-esteem is stable. He is confident in himself. Now we can talk. Give a series of arguments from which it follows that a man is worthy and can take you if he wants, but it's not worth it. I have a new relationship, Pan. I don't want to change it. I'm not interested in any form of intimacy right now. I want to marry a millionaire. I'm in love with a man and I don't want to ruin everything. The main thing is that he understands that you do not consider him unworthy. You are just looking for something completely different or not looking for anything at all. All this needs to be supported by short justifications of why rapprochement will harm you. You're good and you can take me, but then he'll feel bad. In the vast majority of cases, men do not want to cause pain. Even abusers do not do it out of anger, but simply try to save their infinitely falling self-esteem. the companion becomes a victim, and the whole process described above will save him from the need to hunt, and you from the role of game. So it will turn out to keep the distance at a comfortable distance and preserve human relations. How to behave after breaking up with a man so that he wants to come back if you are rejected. The situation is the opposite here. Telling a man that has cool is stupid. He probably already believes in it. To show that he can take you even more stupidly, he already knows that. Accordingly, no arguments are important. The guy does not consider you valuable enough for him. Otherwise, I would not have made the decision to break up. The problem is obviously the imbalance of importance. You need him. He doesn't need you. As a rule, such a result does not fall on your head like snow in July. You have been walking towards it for a long time. Maybe they tried to ignore the facts, found ways to stay in a relationship, deserved his presence. Thus, they further drowned their importance, increasing his self-confidence. If he left, then he has good reason. In this case, you cannot influence anything. It could only be done in the format of a compromise. If a guy said that the relationship did not suit him for specific reasons, then you either had to change or come to the conclusion that your goals, needs, expectations and aspiration had diverged. This is normal. It happens in life. We are not dollars to please everyone. If you are sure that the guy is just arrogant and freaked out from the benefits he receives, then you can bring him down from heaven to earth. It happens that a man finds himself in comfortable conditions. There is always delicious soup on the table. Physical intimacy is available at the first call. The apartment is cleaned. The companion looks with loving eyes and literally worships. In such a situation, many people begin to think that they are so great that anyone will agree to give all this and even more. The idea arises to look for a better one. Then it is important to demonstrate your personal boundaries and lack of dependence. To the phrase "we need to break up," write "yes, I'm starting to think about it too. Let's break up." Sometimes, in still existing relationships, guys allow themselves to declare their relevance in the form of a joke. For example, "I need to leave you. I'll go to Masha. She's been calling for a long time." You can joke in response, "As soon as you get ready, warn me. I'll tell Andrew to come for me." The words themselves do not matter here. You can come up with your own examples. They are not the point. The main task is to show that the balance of importance is not broken. I love you exactly as much as you love me. If you go to someone else, I'll go to someone else too. If you want to break up, I want to too. You left me. You don't write or call. Everything is exactly the same from my side. I also cut you out of my life. I don't write or call. Reciprocity. Therefore, if the initiator of the breakup was a guy, and you were still attached and thinking how to make him come back, then you should be active not in his direction, but in the direction of your self-esteem. Enlist support. It's better to consult a psychologist. Focus on your hobbies and hobbies. Praise yourself more often for the little things. "I cook delicious soup. What a good job I am." And shift the focus from your partner to yourself. This does not directly affect the comeback, but if your importance was low before, then your suffering, obsession and concessions will definitely not end well. I don't know how to improve everything, but I wrote above about how not to aggravate my situation. They do not return to those in need. This is a fact. Thanks for your attention. Be sure to share your opinion in the comments.